Hi, I'm Jeff Bernstein. I'm a professor of political science here at Eastern Michigan University. I've been on the faculty here since 1997, teaching classes in American government, public opinion and political learning, research methods, campaigns and elections, which I'll be teaching this fall. Nothing interesting going on there. And I just love, more than any part of my job, I love teaching and being in a classroom and working with students, whether I'm doing it in the physical classroom or on Zoom. And so welcome to my show, Tuesday Tea with Dr. B. I know that it's hard to come visit campus now and see for yourself how wonderful Eastern is. So I thought I'd invite friends from campus to kind of hang out with me for a few minutes, talk about what they do, talk about why they like being at Eastern, and to maybe even offer a little bit of advice to our entering or even our returning students. None of us really know what this fall semester is going to look like. It's a work in progress, of course, but whatever it will be, my colleagues and I are really committed to making it extraordinary and fun for all of us. And by the way, if you have any questions about Eastern or just want to talk about what your time at Eastern might be like, my email address is on the screen, and please feel free to drop me a note. I'd be happy to talk to you. So my guest today is Steve Bryant, who is Director of Diversity and Community Involvement at Eastern Michigan University. Steve, thanks for being with us today. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And so tell me a little bit, what does a Director of Diversity and Community Involvement do at Eastern?
Absolutely. So I oversee our 4 coordinators who work in our Center of Race and Ethnicity, our LGBT Resource Center, our Vision Volunteer Center, our Women's Resource Center. So kind of as a team, and we have 4 coordinators there and several student employees, really work to fulfill 3 main goals. So that first one's supporting and empowering minoritized students on campus. The second is providing intentional learning around diverse growth experiences. And then the third is really challenging systems and structures that perpetuate inequities. So we're the main student-focused diversity and inclusion office on campus.
Okay. And you must work with some really, really interesting and fun and innovative students in the job.
Absolutely. We work very closely with a lot of our student organization leaders within some of our minoritized student groups on campus. And so it's always a great time connecting with students, and every day is a little bit different. So I'm looking forward to days out this fall, connecting virtually with a lot of our students. But that brings in one thing I really enjoy about the work that I do is the students who are very passionate and engaged with doing the work that they want to do. And all of that centered around supporting other students. So we do a lot of helping students who help other students.
That's wonderful. And I know we've had some challenges at EMU, of course, like lots of universities have had. What have been some of the things that you've really worked hardest on to deal with in the time you've been at Eastern?
Yeah, so I've been at Eastern for about 3 years. And so one of the big things that we've been working, really, how can we be strategic with the work that we do? Because we know there's a lot when it comes to systemic racism, transphobia, homophobia, sexism, and how all those things intersect. And really, how can we use our time best with kind of battling a lot of those systems that are occurring in society? So I think one thing that I really enjoy about that is that our students are very engaged and willing to give their opinion and help us be part of the solution and moving forward to creating the society that our students want to see. And that's one thing that really attracted me to coming to Eastern, was the students are just very engaged when it comes to different social justice issues.
They really are. It's been amazing to me, and I think even more so in the last half dozen years or so, that I stand up in front of groups of students, and I used to have to work hard, particularly in my American government class, to convince my students that government and policy and public affairs was something they should be paying attention to. I don't have to do that anymore. They're engaged, and whether they're majoring in political science or anything else, it's a hot button of energy and engagement that I'm seeing in my classes these days.
I agree 100%. And that's what I love about students today, is they arrive to campus as the leaders that we want them to be.
That's a great way to put it.
And so I think historically, when we look years ago, we were trying to get students to a place where when they graduated, they were fully equipped to go out into the world. I think now what we do is we work with students and we learn together, and we help them grow areas that they need and want to grow. So many times I'm learning on a daily basis from the students that I'm here to help serve. And so it's almost like a mutual beneficial environment.
And I feel the same way. I mean, I think so much of what we talk about in government classes involve aspects of diversity and equity and inclusion, and my own identity limits the perspectives I've had in the world, just like all of our own identities limit our perspectives. And I find my students know things and they understand things that I just don't, and I learn so much from them.
Yep, I agree.
So, a lot of people, when we talk about sort of advice for students and getting ready to go to college and get started, focus around academics, classes, how to do well in classes. Talk to me from the more student affairs side of the table. What advice would you give our students in terms of getting involved and making a fuller experience on campus beyond just go to classes, study, and get good grades?
Absolutely. I would say it's what I hear from a lot of our upper class students is, I wish I would have gotten engaged sooner. And so I would start on day one. And you don't have to fully commit to, these student organizations, or if I want to get involved in these different student support groups and these things, but try things out. I think when you're new to the university is an opportunity to even just say, hey, I'm just here to check things out. I may come, I may not, when it comes to different organizations and things. So I would say be open to exploring different things, because I think the more that we do that, the more it solidifies who am I and what's important to me and what is my value system. And also I would say gain that extra support starting on day one. So look, I love the first week of school of just going across campus and seeing whether it's some of the academic support areas, the student support areas, the student affairs areas, and there's students that are seeking help on day one, day two, day three. And when we look at the students who are doing that, they're the ones that end up being, holistically more successful and have less later in the semester challenges that they need to address. They still have challenges, but because they've been seeking that help sooner, they're able to engage from a place of, I've been working on this and not the fourth quarter and I need to get this done before the game is over. So definitely just exploring new things and getting to know new people, and not being afraid to ask questions.
And students, keep your eyes open, because there will be events going on, most likely virtual events going on in that first week of classes, before classes even begin, that will feature student groups and the opportunity to get involved with these kinds of things. So, ready for a few fun lightning round questions?
Sounds good.
All right, let me throw some at you. Okay, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. Coke Zero.
All right. What is the coolest thing you have in your office?
I have a lot of random things, but probably I had a student employee that was from Nepal, and his mother made me a traditional Nepalese hat that I have sitting in my office.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's cool. So, on an airplane, aisle, seat, or window?
Aisle. Legroom, definitely.
All right. Favorite spot to vacation?
Anywhere there's water.
Best speaker you've ever heard live?
It was virtually Brene Brown.
And what's your favorite spot on EMU's campus?
The Student Center, because it's the living room of campus. There's always exciting things that are going on.
I assume your office is in the Student Center, right?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit biased, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I tell you, when we built that building and I walked through it the first time and I saw the windows looking out over the lake on a nice spring day, I think it really is one of the most beautiful spots we have there. So, let's wrap this up. What, in your opinion, makes EMU really special?
EMU is really special because it's an opportunity for students to get individualized experiences, and to quote a colleague of mine, it's big enough to matter but small enough to care. And so that people help you on a regular basis and will be there to support you. And I mean that as other students, as faculty, as staff, as administrators. but it's also big enough that folks are like, oh, Eastern Michigan University, and folks know who Eastern is. And so it's that sharing atmosphere that I think is what's most critical.
I think in my judgment, when EMU is at its best, we really have a lot of the advantages of small liberal arts school. I think we make it possible for students to find their community, to find mentors and work with people, to leave there with friendships and strong relations with faculty and with staff members. I really like that description of the place.
Yeah. I would add to it too, is students get to leave their mark, which I think is tough sometimes when it's such a short period of your life. But a lot of what we do is because students have helped either guide us in this direction or challenged or supported or gave feedback. And so really, we've really created a structure from what students say they need and want.
I think that works. I think that's a great way to sort of summarize and wrap up here. So Steve, I want to thank you for joining us here on Tuesday Tea with Dr. B. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode. And please, again, remember, we're here at EMU. We're getting pumped and excited for the fall, and we hope to see you here and to make some memories together. Thanks, everyone.